Father Stu is directed by Rosalind Ross and stars Mark Wahlberg, Mel Gibson, and Jackie Weaver. Stuart Long was a down-on-his-luck boxer, but after a near-fatal accident, he finds meaning in religion and sets out to become a priest. I am not a very religious person. I mean, if that's who you are and you use your religion to spread love and compassion and peace and kindness to others, all the power to you. You are a better human being than I will ever be. That's just not who I am. But I am a movie person. And ever since I saw the trailer, probably late 2021, early 2022, somewhere around that line, I was always very interested in it. It dropped out of my memory and then suddenly came back when it was in theaters. So to cut to the chase and make this review as quick as I can possibly make it, I thought this movie was just meh. Just meh. I mean, not awful, but it could have been a lot better. All right, so let's get the best part about this movie out of the way right out of the gate, because if I'm being honest, this is probably the biggest and only noteworthy praise I can possibly give this movie, and that is the acting. The acting in this movie from every single cast member is fantastic. Whether they're a main character or supporting character, no one is sleeping through this movie while they're on screen. Every single person is giving their all, and all of them deserve so much praise. Mel Gibson and Jackie Weaver are great as Stu's parents, and they each have their own emotional moments that really do tug at the heartstrings because of just how good their performance is. But obviously, the best actor in this movie is the lead actor himself, Mark Wahlberg. He is on his A game in this movie, and he is so good. He has so many great emotional moments, and I just feel so bad for him. Not just because the performance itself goes through a lot of trials and tribulations, but also just because of Mark Wahlberg's performance, how great it is, how much of obvious Oscar bait it is. And it comes out in April, months away from Oscar season. Oh boy. But whether it's Mark Wahlberg, Mel Gibson, a random supporting character who only has one scene in the movie, every single actor brings their all to this movie. They are not sleeping through their performances, and they all have fantastic chemistry with each other. If there is anything I can say for this movie, is that the acting is well worth the watch. The rest of the movie, however, that's where we get into most of the film's problems. The main problem with the movie is just how it's structured. There's nothing wrong with the dialogue or the direction that much. It's just the structure of the movie. And that blanket statement can be chopped down into different problems with the film. For one, there are just way too many montages in this entire movie. I'm pretty sure if you took out all of the montages, this movie would only be an hour long. And a lot of those montages go through some critical character development. There's also a real lack of conflict throughout the movie. Even when Stu is down on his luck but trying to find religion through different means, there's not a lot of pushback from the church at all. And even when he's trying to become a priest, there's like the slightest bit of pushback, and then he just overcomes it and convinces them. There's no real conflict in the movie outside of just Stu's spirituality, and unless you can really get into the spirituality part of this movie, you're not gonna find it all that interesting. And even though I did like Mark Wahlberg's performance, Stu as a character, and in fact, most of the characters in this movie are pretty one note, and you're supposed to really care about them. And I would care about them if half of their development wasn't montaged. But the big problem with this movie is the pacing. This movie is 2 hours long, and it truly feels like 3. It's not a problem with the runtime, it's a problem with the story structure. The main plot of this movie doesn't even really kick into gear until halfway through the whole flick. And if it doesn't happen halfway through the flick, and it just feels like it happens halfway through the flick, that's all the more reason to complain about the pacing. And this movie has quite the Return of the King style ending, where it just goes on and on and on and on, and it could have stopped at any single one of those endings, but it just keeps going. So yeah, I didn't really get that into the movie. But honestly, if you did, I can't really fault you for it. The acting from every single cast member is phenomenal, and the message that this story is trying to tell is a nice one. But the structure of the movie is so wonky, whether it's the way that it montages through critical moments of character development, or the type of pacing where you start to get bored halfway through the film. While I got invested in the acting, I could never get invested in the story or the characters. If you got into the movie, that's your truth. You are more than welcome to it. But my truth is, I just couldn't really get into it. And my truth, honestly, is I'm going to give Father Stu a C. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. And let me know in the comments down below. I can't believe I'm going to ask this, but I feel like it's the only question to ask when I'm reviewing this type of movie. What's your favorite religious film? Can't believe I just asked that, so I'm just going to say my answer, Prince of Egypt, real quickly, and I'm just going to say that I honestly think it's one of the most underrated films ever made, and arguably one of the greatest animated movies, period. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are the best. And don't forget to click subscribe and click the bell icon down below to stay up to date on all things movie, all things TV, all things nerd.